And then my OB says, look, you're measuring really big. We just need to go ahead and schedule a C-section. And
he didn't even suggest induction. He just went right for cesarean.
Right for cesarean.
What was his reasoning?
Just because that he was too big and thought that I was too small, and said that there would be too much damage. That just went through this whole like fear-mongering list of things that could happen to my body, and that it was just the right thing to do. So for the second time around, I knew I wanted it to be different, because I didn't want to feel the way I did immediately postpartum after my first. I was very sad. I don't remember a lot of the first 24 hours after my first birth. And I knew I didn't want that for my second. So I went to a big clinic in Raleigh, and I said, hey, I want a VBAC, and I'll be 2 years between them. And they told me, you're crazy. We're absolutely not going to do that. And I said, okay, bye.
You left. Yes.
And I progressively just got bigger. So I was thinking, oh my goodness, what I was told with my first was completely a lie. So with my third, I became even more determined, to be honest. I wanted this one to be completely unmedicated, very physiological, wanted it to be as hands-off as it possibly could, but still wanted to have a positive hospital birth experience. So I ended up taking the pain-free birth masterclass, and that was life-changing. The goal was to take the full course, but the masterclass came up first, and I thought, absolutely. So I wrote down everything. I took notes and had it just playing in my head over and over again.
I love that.
So I started off laboring on the toilet, actually, for the most part.
Go to the toilet. It's
Yes,
the best.
I had seen that so many times. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I was like, oh my
That's
goodness.
probably why you progressed so quickly.
I had a whole conversation with the on-call doctor in the car, and I have no recollection of it. None whatsoever.
That's hilarious. Those are birth hormones for you right there.
And she goes, wait a minute. Let's check first. And then asked me, can I check you? I hadn't been asked that before. So I finally got to consent to a check.
After two, this is your third baby, and that was the first time they actually got informed consent to check you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It was physical points. It was jaw, shoulders, hips, vagina. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not.
Yes, this is a birth podcast. You can definitely say vagina. And was all of that worth it? What was that like?
Oh, it was amazing just to have him finally on my chest, to hear him breathing, hear him crying, and have him there with me was an experience like no other. It made me want to have another one, like soon.
Like right then and there.
Because I didn't feel that the other two times. Like I knew I wanted more kids, but right then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with how empowering this was, and my baby, and how the Lord brought me through it.
That's the way it's meant to be. So that's just the way it's meant to be. Like that's God's design for birth.
I didn't feel sluggish like I did after having the epidural. I didn't feel overwhelmed because I did have some PPD after my first and second, and I didn't have nearly as much with this one. Not much at all. And it was just completely different.
That's a true marker, I believe, of like physiological birth, and something we don't talk about enough is how much it impacts our postpartum experience.
I knew it was totally possible, and that my body was meant to do this. Like I wouldn't naturally conceive and grow a baby that is beyond my body's capabilities, even before you get pregnant. You have to decide for yourself right then and there that is what you're going to experience. Have that mental fortitude now so you don't waver later. Surround yourself with the most supportive people possible, and then having the support of my own people and hiring a doula. I don't care how much money it is. Hire the doula.
The fear of the big baby is like one of my missions. Like we're just going to kill that fear because your body can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, that is a fear that needs to die. That needs to go.